I'm coming home. New York City, baby. I'll be honest, I'm pretty excited. Mama, Pops, and Cece, yeah, they're going to be there. Playing in front of them in the NBA uniform for the first time is going to be a special moment for me. Now, I know all of Harlem's going to be watching. No pressure, right? It's all good, though. I've been waiting for this my entire life. And now be ready.
Utah Jazz. At point. At the.
We have an interconference affair lined up for you today as the Utah Jazz come in for this one. We're happy to have you with us for 2K Sports midweek presentation of NBA. He's checked in for Porzingis, and it's Tony Wroten in for Jose Calderon. Utah also making some changes. Booker, he's checked in for Gobert. Alec Burks comes in for Rodney Hood, and Freak subbed in for Mack. So on the floor for Utah, Burks the off guard with Hayward at the 3. Booker out there with Favors, and it's Freak in at the 1.
You know, as I watched Derek Favors last season, he continued to develop his offense. He was a big, unpolished athlete coming into the league, had some conditioning problems, but now it seems like he's on track to be a force as a power forward.
Jazz trail by 4. Freak with it. 8 points his last outing, and the first shot of the night for him, no good. And a fast break now for the Knicks. And he gets the bucket. That's 10 points for Carmelo Anthony.
That's a quick bucket there. Solid in transition.
Well, you know, he loves the chance to get out and run, and we could see right there why he does.
Freak with it, and Wroten picks him up defensively. 6 on the shot clock. Here's Freak. Another miss by Utah. New York leading by 6. Here's Afflalo.
You know what? Tried to step in and cut him off, but just didn't get there quick enough.
Yeah, he was one step late that time, Greg.
The Knicks have been successful. Here's Freak. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. So on the floor for Utah, Burks the off guard with Hayward at the 3. Gobert is out there with Booker, and it's Freak in at the 1 spot. Clock at 4, and so he earns a trip to the line. Official saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2. And guys, what do you think about the offensive approach we've seen so far for the Knicks?
We got a storyline here. If it goes on for the rest of the game, it could be all those points they're getting at the foul line.
And also defensively, they've been able to cause some turnovers tonight, and that also builds confidence and gives you momentum.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Well, Kev, Freak in the last matchup against the Hornets was a big factor. He finished with 8 points and did a good portion of his work from the free throw line as he drew a good number of fouls. He really was the second unit for his team in a great performance, guys.
All right, thank you as always, Doris. And another special game from a player that we know is incredibly capable for this team.
Yeah, and he proved his value again in that last game. I mean, he's a cog in their machine, no doubt.
Yeah, and they're going to need a few other players to lend a bigger hand today. I mean, they can't expect him to carry the entire load 2 games in a row.
The Jazz making a switch here. Hood's checked in. Now here's Freak. Looking at his numbers, he's averaging about 6.5 points a game. And here we go. Wroten heading to the hoop. And yes, sir, that one drops. And the Knicks lead by 12.
I like the fact that he led his teammate right to the ideal spot. You don't always throw it to your teammate. You throw it to where he needs to be.
Another miss by Utah.
That's something they need to do more of. Get after it on the glass. Go get those boards.
Clark, it wouldn't hurt. Some extra possessions would definitely help narrow the gap and maybe swing the momentum.
Now here's Freak. He's guarded by Calderon. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. Let's check out the NBA blocks leaders. 5th is Robin Lopez.
Well, anybody on this list, Kevin, is going to have the ability to get stops in a spectacular fashion, in a game-changing, dramatic fashion, in a crowd-pleasing way. That's what shot blockers do. You know, he didn't get to the line in that entire first quarter, but right now he's showing some aggressiveness out there.
Derek Favors checked in for Trevor Booker.
And, you know, the NBA loves to experiment with different rules in different ways. The D-League last season used international rules for goaltending. And that small change makes a huge impact on the defensive end.
And now Doris Burke has it up. And through the first half, a pretty lopsided affair.
Well, Carmelo,
Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Freaks checked in for Shelvin Mack. So it's the Knicks now. Nothing yet for them in the third quarter. They're coming off that win against Philadelphia.
And with the type of defense they played that day, they were able to cause a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, and causing a lot of turnovers, Greg, as you well know, means cashing in on those opportunities, which really can put a team in a bad way in a hurry.
Aflalo is out there with Calderon. Then there's Robin Lopez. Then it's Anthony. And it's Porzingis in at the 4 slot. So that's who's on the floor for the Knicks. And the Eastern Conference has been fun to watch. A lot of focus as always this year. And as we hit the midseason surge, let's check out the standings and how they're shaping up. You take a look at the Cavaliers. They've been in peak form as we've watched them play some tremendous basketball with an eye toward the postseason. And checking out New York, a few slots below them.
And right now for the Knicks, they've played some good basketball this year. They have to consider this season to be a success in terms of where they are at this point.
Well, they ought to. I mean, I wasn't sure they were going to be able to do a lot of damage coming into the year, but I'm a believer now.
One thing about Jose Calderon, you could see the frustration in him last season playing a career-low 42 games, and his averages were down pretty much, Greg, across the board.
Yeah, and Kevin, he was brought in to kind of invigorate the Knicks' point guard position, but following a preseason calf injury, you know, he missed the team's first 13 games and never was able to really get going. Remember, coming into a new system where he had to learn how to play differently, and then after all that, you know, you have to shut him down because of that left Achilles.
And it's Freak missing.
You've got to give them a lot of credit for the job they've done on the backboards.
They've done a lot of things well today, but really it's about what they've done.
The Knicks also changing it up. Porzingis comes in for Kyle O'Quinn, and Anthony subbed in for Thomas.
And getting back to Jose Calderon, he'd been an extremely efficient shooter for a point guard, 48% from the field throughout his career. But last season, he couldn't hit it at all. I mean, he dropped down to 41%.
So on the floor for Utah, Freak, he's in at shooting guard. Hayward out there with Booker. Then it's Jeff Withey, and it's Burke in at the point. The shot by Anthony, no good. Utah's gone 1 of 3 from outside the arc since we've reached the fourth quarter. And a wide-open look for Freak. The three-pointer off the mark.
And, you know, on the topic of Jose Calderon, his game is predicated on getting others involved. Last season, he had Carmelo Anthony to throw it to, and really pretty much no one else. So defenders could key on him a little more, causing him, I thought, to become just a little less efficient.
Here's Lopez. Gordon Hayward comes up with the rebound.
Oh, he knows that one should have gone in. That hurts.
Pass to Freak. And over 2.5 minutes in the books here in the fourth. And he gets the bucket.
And he is starting to turn it on now after that slow start.
Now the dish to Calderon. Gets it to go from beyond the arc. Calderon's got 9 points here in the second half.
He shot the ball exceptionally well as they've built this lead for themselves here.
From beyond the arc, it's rebounded by New York.
Boy, I tell you what, the complexion of this game would be completely different if he'd shot the ball anything like he's capable of.
Anthony, no one around, hits the jumper in space.
And just a little bit ragged defensively there, Clark.
They really want to find that igniter here.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin, the offense has basically been running in place.
They got to get going.
And this quarter, he has clearly been off the mark. Yeah, the NBA Development League now celebrating its 15th anniversary and a lot of change over that time. None of the original 8 teams still playing in their original locations. Still, it's only growing. And I think we'll see it grow to 30 teams before long.
Looking at who's out there now for the Knicks. Kyle O'Quinn, he's checked in for Porzingis. Lance Thomas comes in for Anthony. Langston Galloway's checked in for Jose Calderon. And it's Grant in for Tony Roten.
And since halftime, he has just been ice cold. Just can't seem to get anything to go his way.
Well, Greg, you're talking about the D-League. Not really a moneymaker yet, but it's really benefited, Clark, the NBA in so many ways.
Clearly has, Kevin, a place to train new players, officials, and executives or management, a way to test out possible rule changes. I think building revenue is the focus, though, and the players make a small salary, but the NBA Developmental League is helping the NBA be better.
And as we head to the final buzzer here, a crushing blowout, big-time dominance, and this will go in the record books as a gaudy win for New York.
You're right, Steve. It was a standout. Oh, my. How did he hit that shot?
I don't believe what I just
How
saw
in the
right
world?
there, Kev.
In the corner, it's Galloway. And the Knicks good for 2.
This is a serious game-clinching run they're on.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just not backing off here. I mean, they're looking to close this one out in style. What a time to have this kind of surge.
Burke kicks to Withy. And it's O'Quinn with the rebound.
Usually, if he gets to the rim, he's converting it into points. But the defense stood tall there.
Grant outside.